Hi friends, today I will explain anatomy and physiology of lens. Let's begin. Before begin the topic, what is the use of lens? The use of lens is uh, for the vision, and it helps in the formation of the image on the retina. Now I will explain the gross anatomy. The lens has biconvex shape, and these are the crystalline structure, and it is a transparent. Transparent means if you see from one side, you can clearly identify the other side of. This is the transparent diameter 9 to 10 mm. This diameter is this. If you see from front side, there is a diameter. This is 9 to 10 mm, and thickness. If you cut from lateral and you see the lateral side, this is the thickness. This is how much? 4 mm. Now radius of curvature, there is a anterior surface, this is 10 mm, and posterior surface, this is 6 mm. Weight is 250 mg. This anterior and posterior surfaces meet above. This is called equators. This is upper and lower equators. This is iris and ciliary body, and this is lens, which are connected with the ciliary body through the jonular fibers, which help in the accommodation reflex. This is posterior, it is filled with vitreous humor. This is the anterior side, which is filled with aqueous humor. Aqueous chamber again converted into, this is posterior chamber, this is anterior chamber. This is gross anatomy. Now I will focus on the attachments of lens. Peripheral attachments of lens are, this is ciliary body, and this is sclera. Here it continues with the cornea. This is iris, this is ciliary body. Below the near the ciliary body only, here there are some fibers which connect the lens with ciliary body. These are the jonular fibers. These are the jonular fibers. It is also called as jonules of Jin. Jonules of Jin. Now we focus on the what are the jonules of Jin. There are 6 or number. These supports the lens with the ciliary body. First is pars orbicularis. This is the pars orbicularis. Here it is the jonular plexus. Pars orbicularis forms the pars planus. Pars planus of the ciliary body. Jonular plexus form the pars plicata. This pars plicata only involves in the production of aqueous humor. This is the capillary network. Pars plicata is nothing but capillary network. It involves in the production of aqueous humor. Again, third part is jonular fork. This is the jonular fork, and there are 3 limbs of jonular fibers. One is anterior jonular limb, and equatorial jonular limb. Now only I explained that what is equatorial, where the The equatorial is the point at which the anterior and posterior surfaces meet. This is the equatorial. So at that point there is a one jonular fiber which is called equatorial jonular limb. This is like a brush border. This is like a brush appearance on the equatorial point. And another one is posterior jonular limb. These are the peripherally attachments of lens. Now you can see the posteriorly what are the attachments of lens. Now only I said that there is anteriorly there is a anterior capsule. This is the anterior capsule. Posteriorly there is a posterior capsule. This is posterior capsule of the lens. And what is the part behind the lens? That is vitreous. Yes or no? Vitreous is the posterior part of the lens. Vitreous also boundaries. There is one of the anterior side we call as a anterior highlight surface of the vitreous, and here there is a posterior capsule of the lens. In between posterior capsule and the highlight surface of the anterior highlight surface of the vitreous, there is a circular adhesions. What is meant by adhesions? Which connect the two things. Here also these adhesions, the circular adhesions connect the posterior capsule with the anterior highlight surface of the vitreous. These are circular in shape, so these called as the hyaloideo-capsular ligament figure, or it is also known as retrolental ligament. Why called as a hyaloid-capsular ligament figure means why? Because it is connect the highlight surface, anterior highlight surface of the vitreous with the posterior capsule, so it named as a hyaloideo-capsular, and it is also known as retrolental ligament. This Eaglet space, what is meant by Eaglet space? The Eaglet space, it is the space in the circle. Now only I explained what is circle. It is a circular adhesions between the posterior capsule of the lens and anterior highlight surface of the vitreous. There is a space, it is called Eaglet space. This space is also known as Burger space. Now how it will be presented? This is a Burger space, and within the Burger space there is a posterior part of the vitreous. There is a space of Martigoni. These both are connected with the cloacated canal. Cloacated canal connects both space. This is about the posterior attachments of the lens. Now we'll go to the refractive index and power. Refractive index of the lens is 1.39. Total dioptric power of the lens is 15 to 16. Accommodation power of lenses varies with the age. Why? Because in older age you cannot able to see near objects or far objects. Why? Because in the aging process there is a loss of function in the lens or the supporting ligaments, so there is a varies with the age. Now we see the what is the structure of lens. If you cut the lens from front side or lateral side, we observe like a onion. When we cut the onion, we see the concentrically arranged. When we see in the onion, there is a concentrically arranged petals or some the food pots. Like that only in the lens also, like that arrangement. Now see, first the lens is covered by capsule, lens capsule. It is thick in the anterior side and thinnest in the posterior side, and also pre-equatorial area there is a thickest This is about lens. After the lens, there is a epithelium. Posterior side lacks the epithelium, but anterior side has a anterior epithelium. When the epithelium goes towards the equatorial point. The the anterior epithelium is cuboidal cells. When we go towards the equatorial point, the cuboidal is replaced by the columnar. This is about the epithelium. Now we see there is a cortex after the epithelium, and there is a nucleus. Nucleus consists embryonic and fetal fibers, infantile fibers, adult fibers. How it formed, now I will explain. These are formed from the epithelium. These cells, it goes towards the center. This embryonic form during embryonic period, like that fetal and infantile, these are all formed step by step. So it forms like that. These are the Y-shaped structure fibers in the fetal nuclear fibers. This is about structure of lens. Now we go to the applied physiology. Mainly the lens role is vision. Along with that, there are other aspects which are lens, transparency, metabolism, accommodation, reflex. Now lens transparency. What are the factors involving the transparency of the lens? The one is avascular. It is avascular so that it is transparent. If it vascular, the vasculature is interference with the transparency. If the light rays coming from the environment, these light rays reflect from the vasculature, it goes back, so vision is not able to see, vision is impaired, so it is avascular. Epithelium in one layer. Epithelium is only one layer. If there are many layers, it is thick, so that vision is impaired, or the transparency of the lens is lost. So one layer, so such that it helps in the lens transparency. Semi-permeable lens fibers tightly packed and membranous. The fiber's membrane is very narrow, and the organelles of the fibers are lost. If all things present, these are interference in the lens transparency. Role of the lens proteins. Like other cells and other organs, lens also has some proteins. These are the lens proteins. One of the lens protein is MIP26. It is also called as aquaporin O. It helps in the transport of water and glycerol. If there is any mutations in this protein, it leads to the cataract. Why? Because there is accumulation of the proteins and all things. Pump mechanism. This pump mechanism makes the lens hydrated. It prevents from the dehydration. This pump mechanism also maintains the lens transparency. Auto-oxidation and high concentration. What is meant by auto-oxidation? It have tendency to undergo oxidation itself, so it is called auto-oxidation. And this auto-oxidation, there are a protective mechanism that is high concentration of the reduced glutathione. So there is high concentration reduced glutathione which involve in the protective mechanism of the lens, so that there is prevention of damage in the lens. It also maintains the integrity of the membrane. Lens produce many superoxide and lipid peroxide which are toxic to the lens. There is high concentration of the reduced glutathione. No, this helps in the uh, this helps in the get rid of these toxic substances, thereby the uh, lens makes healthy. And also other vitamins, vitamin E, vitamin C, these are help in the lens health. Other is metabolism. Now I will explain the metabolism. There is a metabolism is very very important for the lens. Any structure in the, if you take any structure, any organ in our body, if it is compromised from the nutrients, it undergo death. Same way, if the lens is deprived from the nutrients, lens also can undergo death. So metabolism and nutrition is very important in the lens also. um, there are many transporters in the lens, so that it requires so much energy. That way the lens requires nutrition. What energy is produced in the lens, this energy all required for processing the uh, transporters in the lens. Why? Because there are many transporters in the lens. It is avascular, so that the aqueous humor which produced from the ciliary process, this aqueous humor only nourishes the lens, and the waste produced from the lens is collect and receive the aqueous humor. This aqueous humor drains from out the lens, drains from out of the eye. The this aqueous humor same like a blood. Blood also gives the nutrients to the organ and take the toxins and waste products. Same way the aqueous humor also give nutrients and they take toxins. This is about the uh, lens physiology and anatomy. Thank you for your patience listen.